This is Duncan Fisher, and you're listening to the A.C.E.S Junkyard Podcast live on 30.49 Comstar Radio.
Hello and welcome everybody to the Armored Combat Escalation Service Podcast, Episode 21, the number one voted MWO and Battletech podcast on the internet. With me today is Tierkron. How's it going?
All right.
Only all right?
Well, my 4th of July plans got dramatically changed due to a family emergency. So I have not really been having the best past 3 days. And today was even quite stressful. So it's getting on for the podcast is actually the most normal thing I've been able to do since Thursday morning.
That doesn't sound good at all. I hope everything's all right.
Things are starting to look better, so I'm hopeful that things are on the upswing now.
All right. And Hell's Dog, how's it going, Hells?
Bad, thank you.
And of course, I'm your host, Brandon, also known as Cattra, Kell, and well, we might as well just jump right into things. Actually, no, Adam asked me to remind people about a couple things, and I almost forgot. Now I actually have to go and find what he wanted me to remind people of.
Adam wants us to remind of the specific nights that events are going on here on the TS with regards to A.C.E.S, such as the practice nights.
Right. So for everyone, reminder that there are Shimmering Swords practices.
No.
No?
There is no Shimmy's taking time off because
because of
workload.
commissions and stuff like that for his Battletech stuff. Is someone not picking up those, or?
I don't believe so. Right now, Monday night, the practice for Monday night, I don't think is occurring. I could be wrong. Someone might have picked it up and has just not said anything yet. But as it stands, at least from the description in the TeamSpeak area, practices are currently Wednesday and Friday. Wednesday is 8 p.m. Eastern. Friday is 10 p.m. Pacific. Monday is currently suspended due to Shimmering Swords workload. Once he is back, once his workload has stabilized a little bit better, he'll try to be back. But we might see him outside of what would have been his normal practice time. But he has said that he's right now quite busy. So if he is on, he's probably going to only be on for like maybe an hour at the most. So right now, only Wednesday and Friday for practice. We hope to see people there. Iron Warsmith does the Wednesday night practice, and Friday night is led by Rush 2112.
All right. Well, I think that covers all that then. So we might as well get into the big brawl, which is kind of calling back to the last episode, because last episode, of course, we had all the 2C mechs come out. We've had some time to sit around with the information we know now on them, but what's your guys' thoughts perhaps on the idea or this kind of power creep that's happening, as a lot of people put it, especially with the 2C mechs coming in, and a lot of them looking just like straight upgrades and better in every way than the IS counterparts.
Well, they're supposed to be, really and truthfully. If you go by the lore, the 2C mechs, and not just these four, but in lore there are a number of 2C mechs. The 2Cs are generally clan upgrades. They take the original chassis and they've modified it with clan technology. Sometimes it is simple upgrades of just the weaponry and the heat sinks and the and sometimes it's more extensive where it's the internal structure and the engine. It depends on who designs the 2C mech, which clan it originates from, I should say, and what their design philosophy is. Uh, as we can see, some of these, just from the four that we have had, in this upcoming pack, you notice that some of these mechs have all the bells and whistles when it comes to upgrades. They've got the endo steel, they've got the ferrofibrous, they've got the XL, they've got everything, every possible upgrade you can do on them. Others, like the Highlander, are don't have as large of an upgrades. So a lot of it is expected. They are upgrades of their inner sphere counterparts, and they are meant to be that in the lore. Even though they are upgrades, they're still considered to be second line mechs for the clans. The Omni mech is, according to both tabletop and all of the lore that's been written for Battletech, the clan Omni mechs are the cream of the crop. They are the top tier of mech that you can get in the Battletech universe, and they don't really have that crown challenged until well into the Word of Blake Jihad. That's really the only time that the idea of the clan Omninek being not the top contender for best battle, best mech on the field really happens. And even that, when it occurs, it's another set of Omnimechs that are challenging them. So Omnimechs are supposed to be the be all end all of mech development as it stands. So we shouldn't be surprised by some of this power creep as it's been determined. But it is a game, and so
I was about to say, I mean, lore
yeah.
lore wise, it makes sense, but I'm thinking like game feel and game balance and stuff like that.
Game feel, there is a reason for some people to be complaining about the power creep, and rightly so. One of the things Russ and Paul and a number of people have mentioned is keeping balance in the game, or at least a semblance of balance. Back in previous MechWarrior titles, there was always what has been termed now a race for clan tech. That the first players to get clan tech, they never went back. You'd never play a regular inner sphere mech, if you could outfit it, if you had access to a clan Omni mech. And if you didn't have access to a clan Omni mech, but if you had access to, salvaged clan parts, you would upgrade your inner sphere mech with those clan weapons, those clan heat sinks. That's just what you did. It's with the way Russ has spoken in the past, I'm a little surprised at the 2Cs being rolled out as early as they are. But considering where the inner sphere mechs kind of stand, with some of them being able to take on clan Omni mechs, it's somewhat understandable, but it's difficult to say because I don't think the Hunchback's going to replace the Stormcrow, and I know that Orion's not going to replace the Timberwolf, but the Highlander 2C is going to be very popular, and the Jenner 2C is going to be very popular. The Jenner 2C, as we said last week, is probably going to become the light mech of choice for not just the clans, but also for the inner sphere. It's just going to be very, very good with all of that clan tech mounted on it.
I think, yeah, basically game feel. I'm not entirely sure how I feel yet because I don't know, but being straight, because again, we still have the new quirk system and stuff like that going into place. So we don't know how that's going to feel, but if it's as it is right now, it's like I said before, like there's no reason to take the regular Jenner over the 2C variant or take the regular mechs over their 2C variants. They're basically just going to be forgotten. So I'd be interested in learning more about how they're going to be balanced, perhaps, or even how this new quirk system is going to work before I make any sound judgment. But as it is right now, the way I see it, the 2C mechs, yeah, it's just more incentive to stay clan or play clan over playing Inner Sphere, more so than anything else. And
like any mech in the game, they're going to have their advantages and their disadvantages. Comparing the Hunchback to the Hunchback 2C, the 2C, of course, is going to have a heavier punch, but I do wonder if it's going to be as survivable as the Hunchback is. Having those two big side torsos, with where all that weaponry is, means that critical hits to those side torsos are going to be far more likely. So even if you don't lose the entire side torso, you could easily lose your one of those big weapons pretty quickly. And if you just get caught out, there's not going to be a shield side like there is with the Inner Sphere Hunchback. So in overall gameplay, smart players are going to, of course, utilize mechs to their full extent. You're going to have, your average player is going to try to gravitate towards what he or she sees as being the best. And, mediocre players are going to do what they always do, which is bitch and complain no matter what mech they're in, because they're going to get shot up because they do something incredibly stupid. So while I understand the arguments that people are having, I think, like anything, they're letting it go a little too far and they're worrying way too much over it. And they should just calm their tits and relax for a little while, especially considering these mechs don't show up until December.
Yeah, like I said, with concerns to the 2C mechs, that's basically how I'm feeling as well. I'm not going to make a big fanfare until we get closer to December, depending on how things look. But with this discussion, we might as well move on to our next topic, which are the two new hero mechs. And one of them is a new Thunderbolt with 8 energy slots.
Actually, no, it has 9 energy slots.
Is it 9? Oh,
yes, it's
I thought it was
4. It's 4 in each side torso and 1. Well, at least from what we've seen, I don't know. We have yet to see the internals for what actual slots are available, but from the preview that we saw in the weekend update, we know
I only
that
counted 8 in there for some reason.
there are
but yeah,
4
okay.
in each side torso, and there is 1 in the right arm. For what is mounted on the mech as stock, there might be 2 in that right arm, or there might be 3. We don't know until we see the the paper doll, in the mech lab for customization. But as it stands, there's at least 9 energy hard points to this new Thunderbolt, which I don't know why they're calling it the top dog instead of tall man, because in the write-ups for all the
Might
battles,
just be a copyright
yeah.
thing, but I don't see why that is when
Yeah.
everything else has had the proper name. But yeah, no, I agree.
So it's one of those.
Maybe they're calling it
things.
Top Dog because it's basically the best Thunderbolt that's going to exist.
That could be. That very well could be. Though Russ has said, it is not going to get, quirked out of the gate, and if it does have any, quirks, it's probably just going to be movement and armor to start with.
Give it missile quirks.
So, yeah, no, you have missile quirks, but no missile hard points. Have fun with that.
Pretty much. Again, this is another thing. I can kind of see with people talking about the 2C stuff, they're going to bring this up. But no, I agree. I think this Thunderbolt, again, without quirks, I don't know how it's going to perform. But again, it is basically the best Thunderbolt as of right now, especially for hardpoint layout and everything like that. I know I'm going to be buying one. I'm going to be turning it probably into something, probably another 3 large pulse or something like that. I don't know. I'll see what people are going to build and probably copy someone's. But yeah, no, it's definitely it's again, the Thunderbolts were already excellent mechs. An energy boat does nothing different because we already have the Thunderwub and a bunch of other very big energy based thunderbolts. Again, I would have liked something that maybe had one or two ballistics or something like that high mounted, and then maybe a couple energy on the arms, or just something different.
Something a little different. You're
Yeah,
right.
something that changes up gameplay and that doesn't become the best mech in that family.
The from what I saw, just from the hard point, the placement once you get the weapons mounted on it, the right torso, you have the high shoulder, mount, 2 slots. And then the second slots, rather than be low like they are in the left torso, they sit almost in line with the cockpit or just slightly lower than the cockpit. They're still incredibly high mounted for the placement on the mech. Even the fourth energy in the left torso is in a similar position, maybe a little bit lower. But basically, if you can get your cockpit over, a hill, a ledge, anywhere, if you have line of sight on something with that mech, I'm fully expecting you to be able to fire at least four of those four energy in your right torso, if not fifth energy from your left torso. So this could easily become a predominantly poke mech, uh, almost replacing the the 9S.
I think it
But
will. I think it absolutely, without a doubt, will. Or even the Thunderwhoop and anything like that. Like, I think, again, this is going to replace. This is going to become a tier 1 mech right out of the gate. No questions asked.
well, it's a it. I don't know if it'll become tier one out the gate. I would expect it to be at least tier two though. Um, if it has any heat quirks, then yeah, it will of course be tier one, which is why some of the Thunderbolts are tier one. It's because predominantly of the heat quirks
Well,
that they get.
I think
But
any quirks at all applied to this will make it tier 1. Armor quirks or anything like that, if you can tank more, even if you can have to take small lasers over mediums or something like that, if it can tank more and get in close, I mean, again, just that's it.
yeah,
So I think any quirks on this one at all will completely break it one way or another.
well,
So, but I
it,
mean, as we know, it's not coming in quirked at all. But
yeah,
we'll see.
we'll see how it develops. Of course, Timberwolf is still going to remain king of the heavies and probably king mech overall. I don't think the top dog is going to dethrone it. It'll probably give it a run for its money, and smart players are going to be able to stand toe to toe with the Timberwolf, much like smart players can do right now in many of the Thunderbolts. So it's it once again will come down to the player's overall skill and knowledge of the game. Good players are going to do great in this mech. Bad players are going to, of course, do poorly, and it will turn into the usual yelling and screaming childish match that it is on Reddit and the forums.
um, but as far as it goes up against clan mechs, again, clans are still going to be. Actually, this one might compete pretty hardcore with some of the clan mechs, especially. Um, I don't know. Timberwolf will still probably ace it, but because I mean, clan weaponry is just how it is. Same with the Cauldronborn. But let's talk about the new Wolverine hero that's coming out at the same time. I believe, if I did my research and or remember correctly, which I may or may not have, it's been vacation. I've been a little bit sleep deprived and a little bit crazy. I believe it's 3 energy and 1 ballistics in the right arm and 2 missiles in the right torso, if that's correct.
In the stock configuration, that's what it looks like from just the preview pictures that have been released. Like with the Thunderbolt hero, we don't know what the overall hard points are going to look like. When you go into customize, but there should, at least from what we've been able to see, at least 3 energy, 1 ballistic in that right arm, and at least 2 missile in that right torso. So We know those will be. We know they will be. Those hard points will be there. We don't know if there
We
will
just
be
don't know if there's
others
anything
there. Yeah,
else
if there will
there
be
at
a
the moment
fourth
as
energy
well.
slot or a second ballistic slot in that right arm. If that right torso has more than one, more than the two missile slots. Uh, we don't even know if there might be something thrown into the other points of the mech. I know in the preview slot they don't have anything mounted in the head laser spot. So one of my big questions is that slot going to be available or is it not there? And if it isn't there, then that's a very large departure from all of the other Wolverine chassis.
But overall, how this Wolverine looks, it's pretty much the same as all the other ones. Again, I'm sitting on about 50,000 MC, so I have nothing better to do with my life than probably buy it. But I don't know. It just seems like instead of having it set up as it is here, I would have probably liked it to see it as a inverse of the Wolverines we see now. So put the 3 energy and the ballistic in the left arm, the 2 missile in the left torso, and then put one in the headers. Something like that. Just something to change it up.
Well, the missiles in the right torso is actually a bit different because uh, the other chassis, the 5P, has missiles only in the left torso. The 6K has only one missile slot in the left torso, and the 7K has one missile in either torso. So having what looks to be almost all of the missiles in the right torso is something of a change up. It's really that right arm that
Yeah, that's what I mean.
is
Like,
kind of a
instead of
letdown.
weighting it to the right side of the mech, weight it to the left. And again, the 3 energy in the arms, nothing new. I can pretty much guarantee anyone that gets this mech is probably going to run probably 3 large lasers or 3 large pulse lasers in that arm, and that'll be it. Unless again there's something in the head or there's something somewhere else on the mech that we don't see. That ballistic slot isn't going to be used. That right torso missile slots probably aren't going to be used. Unless this gets weird quirks, if it gets quirks, just like we were saying with the Thunderbolt, because we know it won't right away. But once again, if it gets quirks, it might be useful. But the way I see it is just another Wolverine to use, and the 6K is still going to be the best. And the what ones I've been using recently for fun, I think it was the 7K I've been using, having a little bit of fun with it with a different type of build. But yeah, I just don't see the Wolverine being interesting, I guess.
Yeah, this one I don't want to say I never want to call it mech DOA, but this one is definitely lackluster. It's not something that I look at and I go, I need to have that in my mech lab. I need to have it, to fill out the number of chassis I have. Uh, it's it's just it doesn't get me excited like some of the other hero mechs did when they came out, and unfortunately, that I don't know if it's just because I'm used to playing so many mechs right now, and I've been in this game since the early days of closed beta, but really and truthfully, the hero mechs that PGI has released in the last, I would say, at least 5 that they've released, none of them have really fired me up and go, oh wow, I need to pick that up immediately. The quick draw, the IV did not really excite me. The Sparky, it was something different for a Griffin, so it was, I ended up picking that up when it went on sale, when it went on to a 50% sale, but I wouldn't have picked it up at full price when it came out initially. I haven't picked up the Great Death. I haven't picked up the Pirate's Bane. I don't know. I know you don't want to, make mechs pay to win, which some of the hero mechs have been accused of being, but they're hero mechs. They should have, by the definition of their name, they should be a mech that stands out from the crowd and has something of a legendary status to it that it performs exceptionally well. It has an exceptional loadout that really puts it in a major wow factor and an incredibly positive light. And I just feel these two mechs are just like the last couple that PGI has put out for Heroes. They're not very exciting, and really and truthfully, they should be.
Well, no, I find the Thunderbolt exciting mainly because again, it's just gonna wreck absolute face. Because just looking at it, it's pretty obvious. But the other ones, yeah, I agree. They're not exciting. They're not riveting.
Well, even the Thunderbolt,
They're
I
not
mean,
different enough to justify a purchase, I guess would be the way to put it. Because I do like custom skins and all that sort of fun stuff that the hero mechs get. I like that sort of stuff. It turns my fancy. But aside from that, I am being a collectionist as well. I guess like I don't know. They're not interesting aside from say maybe the new Thunderbolt.
yeah. I will say this though. I would like to see PGI at some point release the hero mech camouflage patterns for use on other mechs. I think that would be a very interesting thing to do, to have the Jester's, big grin like that on, say, a Cauldron Born or on a Timberwolf or on a Warhawk or even on the Stalker, or have the Misery's shark face on another mech. There's a lot of very good camo patterns and designs that are uh, on a number of the hero mechs that I think would fit very well on some of the other mechs, and I would hope that since we have not had a lot of new uh, general camouflages designed and released outside of the faction camouflages, that PGI would consider releasing the hero patterns at some point. Maybe make them, cost a little extra. Uh, make them the top cost, the most
Well,
expensive
honestly, I mean, I don't
patterns.
unlock any camo skins. I only get the one shots because, I mean, for 75 MC, why not? I'll play dress up with my mech, and I never really plan on changing up the skin once I apply it. I'm almost tempted to say it'd be better to maybe bump the camo costs, and this is going to get ire. I know. I can already sense it in the air. It's brewing. The hate typing and everything. I can already hear it clacking off in my head. But raise. I
Reddit's
don't think
coming for
anyone
you.
would get too upset if they raise the cost of one shots to 100 and then completely drop the unlock system.
Uh,
Maybe that's just me,
yeah, I'm thinking
but
that's just you. I think more people would argue for the current system of having the unlock. That it, you know, yeah,
but
if you're not playing dress up as you called it with your mechs as much, then the one shots make sense. But if you are the type of player that wants to change your camo pattern frequently, having the unlocks is preferable. I don't know because the only camo patterns I have are the faction camo patterns, and I got those from the packs. So I've never spent MC on any camouflage pattern or on any paint. All of my paint comes from the packs. So, uh, but I
I've
have to say, Cattra, I think people are going to probably go, argue for the unlock system
or
rather
or
than the
even
one
or even
shot.
do a balance like lower because I'm trying to remember what it's like. What 1,000 MC to unlock?
It depends. Some of them are like are between like 600 and 750, and some are between
Second here, I'm just gonna
750
actually
and a
log in
thousand.
real quick and
Yeah.
double check,
It depends on the.
so
It
people
really
don't
depends on
send
on the
bombs to my
pattern.
house.
Some of the patterns are more expensive than others, and others are cheaper. I don't know if it's by the complexity of the pattern or if it's by the age of the pattern. I've never really followed that. Someone out there in the ether of the internet probably knows, and probably has it all mapped out.
They
Uh,
probably have to sign an NDA and can't tell us.
Yeah.
Camo specs, just taking a quick look here. For unlocks, 750 to 1,250. So yeah, quite a bit. Meanwhile, I could just one-shot for the same camo, that's 1,200. Let's see here, where is it? For 125. So, I don't know, I'd be tempted to say bump everything up by like 25 MC and then maybe lower the price of unlockables by a little bit, so that if people did want to do dress up, that it wouldn't be some almost 100 times or 10 times the price to just unlock it. Because for what it is, I could change my camo pattern, at least with the one shots at 75. I could change it 10 times before I would ever need to unlock it or reach the cost of unlocking it. I just don't see that as value. But the topic we were talking about was Hero Mechs. Yeah, we got a little bit sidetracked there. But yeah, no. And I guess after these two Hero Mechs as well, to bring things back, would be, I think every mech has a Hero Mech except for some of the newer ones.
Yeah. After the Wolverine and Thunderbolt are released, you're getting into the King Crab not having having one, and
it'd be like
and
King Crab,
really truthfully,
Panther,
if you're going by the release
Mech.
rate of it, it shouldn't be the King Crab that gets one next. It would be the clans that would get one next, because the original Invasion pack that came out, those
boy.
mechs came out before the King Crab debuted. So technically, if you're going by release dates, those 8 mechs should be up for a champion and hero before the King Crab does. And after that, you're getting into, okay, what comes next? The Resistance, the Wave 2s, things like that. You're getting a little bit more muddied. I don't know what PGI's plans are right there. We do know that they are planning to do a champion for the Timberwolf soon, so we'll have to
Well, do you
wait
want
and
to maybe
see.
spitball some ideas here on the podcast, perhaps on what we would think? Because I know I've thought about how they're going to handle. I think I mentioned it on NGNG before, about how to do clan hero mechs, or at least how I perceive a good way of doing clan hero mechs would be. And that was again, it might be unpopular opinion, but I'd say make them a little bit more kind of like the Inner Sphere, where it's not an omnipod system. They're all hard locked for their hard points. They're hard locked still for their engine and endo and all that stuff. But they get access to the clan weaponry and they get that big boost. That's the only way I could potentially see the clan mechs coming out. And again, people are going to be, oh, well, why would I buy this? Blah, 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 blah. Because, again, if they're not an omni system, then, like, what's the point? I think it's the only way to actually, again, probably someone's going to throw a brick through my window with a note saying, you fucked up. This way's better, but I'll accept that. But I think the way I see it, that'd be the way to release them without people screaming right off the bat, this mech is OP, why are you selling pay to win? And maybe after doing a run of like, you could do Pride, Timberwolf or something like that, and all the hard points would be locked to what it was, even though it is the Omni mechs and stuff like that, because I believe it was just an Omni configuration with special weapons.
It was basically, he added jump jets in by losing, I want to say he took out the medium pulse laser and replaced it with an ER small, and downgraded the LRM 20s to LRM 10s, but added Artemis to them. So
yeah, instead of having hard points, again, lock the jump jets in there, and again, someone's going to throw a brick through my window, but hard lock those in there, hard lock the omnipods that were in there, and just allow people to switch out the weapons, kind of like how the Inner Sphere does it. Again, the Inner Sphere, though, gets to play with the engine because it's Inner Sphere and it's special and it needs something. But that's the way I would suggest doing clan hero mechs, but I'm sure they probably have a document somewhere, a living document somewhere with how they plan on doing it already. I don't see why they wouldn't. But that's the only way I could see without bringing the wrath of the community down on them like this weight of 1,000 suns.
Well, whatever regardless of what they end up doing, there will be people that will applaud it and people that will crucify them for it. So it's you can't please everyone, and unfortunately, PGI is going to have to make a decision at some point in time and just go with it.
I think that's what it does come down to, pretty much, is just going with whatever they come up with. Hopefully it's a good idea. I don't know. I've never asked about that sort of stuff. I just kind of throw ideas out there. What about you? Do you have an idea on how they could do clan hero mechs, or?
I don't honestly know. I've been trying to think of what to do. Do you, as you say, keep it more towards the inner sphere side of what hero mechs are done, or do you keep in line with what you already have for clan omnimex? It might come down to a coding issue that they have to keep it more in line with the clan omnimex because that's how the code is written, and that they can't go in and rewrite the entire code for one set of one chassis of that mech. I don't know.
I'd say probably not. Mainly with the 2C stuff, but the 2C stuff could be just coded as IS mechs, right?
Yeah,
and not variants of the clan mechs. Yeah. So yeah, it could be a coding issue, but I'd hope not. Because I mean, you obviously, the way I see, I've seen a couple people make suggestions. I'm just going to go off on a tangent here. Sorry to hear, Krun. But I've seen people suggest like, oh, why don't you just sell the Omni slots for it? Well, I mean, then people are going to again claim pay to win because for a limited or whatever, people have to pay MC to get these hero or these pods in the Omnipod system. If one of them so happens to be better than the others, then heaven forbid. And then people will complain about being locked out and have to pay money for the best gear and that sort of stuff, whatever. Yeah. So I think the best way to like not do that, and also to keep stuff from being completely, I don't want to say completely OP, but I guess to prevent people from, again, I don't want to say min-maxing's bad, but to prevent people or hinder people too much from min-maxing if one of them just happens, if one crit pod or something like just happens to be like absolutely the best, would be just to lock it all down onto the mech.
Well, even if they don't lock it down to the hero mech, perhaps make it that those omnipods only fit on the onto the same onto that hero mech chassis, that they do not function without having the center torso there. They need that they need that prime torso, or that that hero torso basically, in order to function. So you may you may be able to say for the if we go with Pride's Pride for the hero Timberwolf, you might be able to switch its arm pod out for the S1, but that hero pod you cannot switch to the S variant of the Timberwolves. The hero pods have to stay with the hero mech. You can switch them out on the hero mech for something else, but when it comes to using them on another variant, they're locked to the hero mech. So it's a tricky situation of what line do you draw to avoid issues cropping up. So it comes down, I think, a lot to what the coding is like, and what what they might have to rewrite, or what they might have to implement into the coding. So we'll have to just wait and see. Probably most telling will be how champions get implemented to clans first, because we know champions are going to have the clan champions are going to have the same champion stand stature as Intersphere champions. They're going to get that XP boost. So how does that apply when you can switch the Omnipods out? I'm thinking it's going to only apply so long as you have that center torso uh, space there. That that's what hard codes that mech as being the champion or being this particular variant. Because we see it with the prime variants are in game always called the prime variant, no matter what omnipod you've switched in and out on it because of the center torso. So I'm thinking the CT is probably going to be what is going to determine a lot of what happens for these mechs.
Yeah, hopefully we hear some information soon, because I think they did mention that they're looking right now. I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up again, but I think they said that they're looking right now at getting clan hero mechs, or I know they said clan champions as well, but I would assume that would go kind of hand in hand, because once again, honestly, who buys a champion mech?
We've already had that discussion.
Yeah, we've had that discussion many times already. So let's move on to our next topic. The community warfare event, hit or miss?
I was only able to participate in a couple days of it, so I can't really draw a complete conclusion. I will say that I think there is an endemic problem to doing CW events. We saw this with Tukid. We saw it when they did a CW event for the Invasion Challenge. And this problem is that all of the top tier teams, if they are not already locked into a loyalty contract, almost always go clan for these events. Almost to the unit, they will choose to go clan for the event because that gives them the best chance of coming out on top. The few top tier units that don't do this, it's either because they are locked into a contract due to being a loyalist group. 12th Donegal is the best example of this. 12th Donegal are a Steiner loyalist unit, and they will always be a Steiner loyalist unit when it comes to CW.
And overall good guys.
Yeah. And so because of that, it doesn't matter for these CW events. They're always going to be there fighting for Steiner. While a group like Mercstar, you always find them in clan for Tukid. You find them there for Invasion. You find them there now. A.C.E.S, A.C.E.S, we've done both. For Tukid, we fought for the Inner Sphere. For Invasion, we fought for Clan Jade Falcon. Though to be fair, when we were fighting for Clan Jade Falcon during the event, we predominantly attacked Clan Wolf. Yeah, we got some clan on clan action going. Kind of racy for all of you youngins out there, so you probably shouldn't watch any of those videos. But for this particular event, we had a debate come up within the unit about going clan or staying inner sphere, and it ended up being stay inner sphere because of when the event was starting. It was going to be in the middle of our contract with Steiner, and there wasn't information about what would happen if you change contract in the middle of the event. So we basically stayed on with Steiner for the entire event, even though our contract ran out Thursday, Friday. So it goes back though to these events. They are incredibly weighted towards the clans. Sometimes it's PGI's fault that they're weighted towards the clans. Like with Tukid and Invasion, that's just the way they were set up was weighted towards the clans. Whereas other aspects of it aren't PGI's fault. It's the way the top tier, comp units play. They want to win. They want to have the best chance of winning. So of course they're going to go clans. I cannot think of any top tier unit currently that was involved with this latest CW event that went inner sphere and fought for the inner sphere if they were not already a loyalist unit or already locked into a challenge, into a contract, I should say. Just looking at the planetary conquest, it's predominantly loyalist groups for the inner sphere. It's 12th Donegal, Night Scorn, uh, TCAF, Phoenix Legion, and Archov Legion. So, right there are 5 units. They've they're all loyalist units. The only one that might not be considered a loyalist unit is Phoenix Legion. I don't know for certain. I think they move around occasionally, but I won't say that definitively. However, if you look over on the clan side, you've got 228th, Kell's Commandos, Mercstar, Berserker, and German Clan Ghost Bear. Which, to be fair,
To be fair, German Clan Ghost Bear, it's right in their name. I think they're signed permanently with them.
Yeah, they are. Berserker, I believe, is also might be permanently. No, I don't. Actually, I don't know. Berserk might be.
Berserker, but no, I don't think they are.
Yeah, I'm not certain on their stats, but I know 228th aren't. I know Mercstar aren't, and I'm pretty certain Kel's Commandos aren't as well. So, right there, the top three are, their comp units. They go where they want to fight. Overall points, it's pretty much the same thing for the inner sphere. The only difference is Smoke Jays, 420 are listed there. For clans, it's the same.
Yeah,
thing as
Berserker is in a loyalty unit.
Yeah, Swall is in for top points for the clans, and that's just because Swall, there's the Star Wolves, for those who are not aware, they have a very good size unit population. So while they did not place in the overall number of planets taken, they did earn a number of points because of their ability to play and to put population on. So uh, they might have gotten outscored when it came to taking a planet, but they did show up and they did put points on the board overall. So, yeah, it's just the way these events go. It's what happens in community warfare. Those that want to win go clan predominantly. It's very rare to see a winner that is not a top tier comp unit and that's not a clan. So it's something that CW as a whole overall needs to be addressed. It's got a number of issues. Uh, I don't think that the plan for scouting missions is necessarily going to change this. Yeah, it will open it up a little bit for smaller units to get their names on the board, but I fully expect that you're going to see small units like SJR, taking the top spot in CW once scouting, missions open up. They'll be the, where they can't, bring an entire 12-man every time. They can definitely bring at least a 4-man, and so they will be, they and a couple other smaller comp units will probably run the table when it comes to these CW events and the scouting event, you know, the scouting phase of events in CW. So.
Yeah, this community warfare event was interesting. I like how it was set up. I'm going to be honest. I like how it was set up. I like the rewards and everything like that. It's always nice to see that sort of stuff. The biggest thing for me, because again, as I mentioned a little bit early in the podcast, I was on vacation, and so I played a lot of MechWarrior. So I was putting in probably on a good day, between I think 3 to 6 hours on here. I know Hells has been with me as well on a couple of the drops, but I'd jump on here with Scar And we'd probably go for about 3 hours in a row before I'd have to take a break and get something to eat, and then I'd come back and stream again for another 2 or 3 hours, and then I'd just do something else in the evening. But yeah, I played quite a bit this event, and the biggest thing, and it's fairly noticeable when you look at how the planetary conquest fell out, is that there's no incentive to staying Inner Sphere at all.
Yeah, the other problem with it is that whenever there's a seeming to be an issue with community warfare, PGI tends to go in and make a major change, and then they seem to forget that they've done so. Like, they have not adjusted the loyalty rewards for contracts in almost 3 months, and so factions that got a huge, a noticeable boost in the last change are now running the table. They really should have been balanced out, and other factions should have gotten a boost by this point, and they haven't. Uh, Back when Inner Sphere had pushed the clans back close to their starting planets, the PGI went in and said, okay, we're knocking your drop weight total down from 250 back to 240. But now that the clans have already bypassed Terra, there's nothing coming up saying, oh, clans should be suffering a logistics issue now and have their drop total drop weight drop from 240 to say 230. So part of the problem in CW is that PGI, I don't think, is keeping their pulse, their fingers on the pulse of it as well as they should. They really need, a team of 2 or 3 people whose only job is to watch the community warfare play dynamics and, adjust rewards and parameters as needed to keep the overall, gameplay balanced. And they just haven't done that. That's something that they really need to consider doing, or setting up an automated program that will do it. I mean, just looking at the amount of planets taken between the Inner Sphere and clans, from we just know from the top 5 leaderboards for both sides, the top, tier planet taking for the Inner Sphere was by the 12 Donagolds with a total of 8 planets. The top tier for the clans was 228th, taking 19 planets. The lowest for the Inner Sphere was the Archov Legion at 5th place with 1 planet, while the lowest for the clans in 5th place was German clan Ghost Bear with 4 planets. So it's a very dynamic and disparate difference between how many planets are being taken by the factions and by either side. That really is something that PGI should be looking at and considering why that is and what they should do to try to balance that out, because you shouldn't have it literally be a 2 times difference between one side and the other. It should be a bit closer. It should have been 8 to 9 or 8 to 10 rather than 8 to 19.
Definitely. And I mean, one of the things that I noticed when I was playing this event, and this again speaks upon like the amount of people on each side perhaps, or even the fact that how organized the Inner Sphere might be or not. I know at one point during the event we did have about a company and a half dropping on a single planet, and this was a decent population planet. I think it was about 30 on either side. But we would go in and we're defending, because going on the offensive as Inner Sphere just doesn't fucking happen because no one shows up, so you're just ghost dropping all the time. So we're on the defensive, and the planet's at 25%. Both our companies drop. Both of us win. We come back to drop and defend again, but attackers are now at 50%. So it just either the quality of players are not there for the Inner Sphere, which is obvious because all the comp players or any bigger units type of thing, when an event like this comes along, they all just hop to clan because there's, again, no incentive to playing as Inner Sphere, because why would you want, generally speaking, harder fights and a harder game to win in a event that prioritizes quick wins and fast movement and conquering? So I don't know. It's frustrating, I guess.
The overall point spread for this event is far more interesting than the planetary conquest. If you went by the point spread, things are a lot more even between the factions and between either the two sides, clan and IS. The only exception being Mercstar, which basically has the top number of points at almost 8,500. But Mercstar.
But you also have to look at the number
group,
of players.
so,
Mercstar is just a huge conglomerate right now.
So it's understandable that they are, they're the outlier for the number of points, in overall.
Mercstar can be literally anywhere on the map, pushing like 4 different planets at the same time.
But to your point, that's something that we've been saying for, CW for a long time now. The group that is on the offensive, it doesn't, that is attacking a planet, always has the advantage. And
oh,
the
absolutely.
reason for
that was proven. Okay.
Yeah.
Season 1 opening. Aces by the end of the second week had what? 12, 13 planets? We were competing with Mercstar for number of planets, and that's because as Davian, we were always on the offensive. Then all of a sudden Davian, not to badmouth people here, but Davian's all of a sudden like, oh, we got to play defensive now. And we're like, no, fuck that. So I think we went, clan for a week?
Yeah, we left our contract. We went up to Ghost Bear for 2 weeks.
And then we pushed them all the way down. And in that literal week, we lost like half our planets because they decided to play defense.
Yeah. But it doesn't. The thing is, it's always that no matter what faction you are in or what side you're
absolutely.
on, if you can stay on the
I'm just making a point here that going on the offensive is the strategy you want to use in community warfare. You never want to sit on defense. You always want to be attacking at planets because then that makes people leave their attack lanes.
Yeah. And the reason that you also see, planets run up so quickly is you have to remember who you're fighting against, and this is especially true with Inner Sphere and clans. If you are on the Inner Sphere and clan border and you are on the offensive, as the Inner Sphere, if you are trying to take a clan-held planet, your chances of running into a 12-man of a unit for the clans is much lower because you're going to run into all of their pug players first. You'll have the Rainbow Coalition of clanners show up almost 8 times out of 10 when you are on the offensive attacking a clan planet as an Inner Sphere force. As a clan offensive force attacking an Inner Sphere held planet, your chances of running up against an Inner Sphere 12-man also are much lower because you're going to run into all the Inner Sphere pugs first. And the reason for that is the way community warfare has been set up between the two factions, that all Inner Sphere faction players can defend any planet that the clans are attacking. They can fight a defensive contract there. So Liao can defend Steiner can defend Karita. It doesn't matter. Same thing with clans. Ghost Bear can defend Wolf so long as the attacker is an Inner Sphere unit. And, that, while the idea of having, players there and giving people fights is admirable, in an overall strategic sense, it puts a lot of these factions at a disadvantage because they can't get their 12-mans matching up with another 12-man. 12th Donegal is not always going to be matching up against 228th, so the groups that can blunt each other, that can slow down the taking of a planet, aren't facing one another. They're facing off against the random pugs that are thrown together in the mismatch of the matchmaker, and you're having 228th face off against a group of Inner Sphere pugs, and you're having 12th Donegal face off against a group of clan pugs. And because of that, you see these planets jump very quickly back and forth between, having no attack, and no attack pips on it to suddenly being over 50%. So that's something that PGI really needs to address with how CW works as a whole. Because if it continues like this, we're just going to see more and more players not be interested in playing it. We've already seen people leave CW and say they're not going to play because it doesn't matter what they do. They can play for 4 or 5 hours, win every single one of their matches, and still lose. So it's a fundamental flaw in the overall design of the gameplay mode. And I don't know exactly what changes need to be made in order to fix this, but it cannot continue as it stands right now, or people are just not going to play anymore. You will see a mass exodus, and you will only have a few hundred players playing CW, and except be outside of these major events.
Yeah, I don't know. Overall, ending consensus. I think the event was fun for what it was. Hopefully, if they do another CW event, they have some sort of bigger incentive for units to stay on the inner sphere instead of just hopping around. I guess that'll be my final takeaway thing to say.
Yes. What's next on our list?
That's actually all I had written down, but we
Oh,
did get that crazy sweet ass video of the new River City.
yes. Kanajashi put out a preview video. It's up on the MWO YouTube page. It's also listed on the news page for MWOmercs.com. People should go out and check that out. On the MechWare Online Instagram, we have a couple new things up. There is a sweet little piece of art by Alex Iglesias of his Mad Cat, or Mad Cat with a kitty face on it, called the Mad Kitty, which is rather charming. We also have a close-up picture of the Yenlo Wong model that was used in the last dev vlog that was holding up the microphone. I look at this and all I can think, I want this. I don't care. I want this model. It is so awesome looking. I want, Catalyst or PGI or whoever it is that made this and market, to start marketing that. I would pay money for that. We also have on there a preview video of the Arctic Cheetah on Canyon Network. That was put up very recently. We have
Also
another,
known as the mech that skipped a leg day.
yeah. We also have a glitch video of showing the Direwolf breakdance in the mech lab, and we see some of the 3D modeling going on for the crab, which will be coming up with the Resistance 2 packs. So there are a number of things going on behind the scenes at PGI. Uh, Definitely head over to their Instagram, check it out. You can be on, you can get the inside scoop and not be trolling through, a huge forums trying to find these little tidbits here and there.
And I'm going to date this podcast pretty right down to the minute, but the patch notes actually just went live for tomorrow's patch. So that would put it at 8 p.m. Eastern on the dot. And yeah, you're right. It's nine energy for top dog. And it is like we were saying there is actually no head laser in that Wolverine. So again, Wolverine, interesting, I guess. And both mechs actually do have quirks. Though it looks to be structure. The Thunderbolt gets energy range plus 5%, so pretty much fucking nothing. And let's see what the Wolverine has. Again, Additional
Get
armor, acceleration, ballistic velocity and cooldown plus 10%, laser duration minus 10%, and missile velocity plus 10%. So, again, pretty much not a whole lot.
yeah, it's kind of nothing to write home about. But we do have some other big things coming up. Turrets are being removed from assault mode for tomorrow with tomorrow's patch. Ballistic weaponry is getting a couple tweaks. Intersphere autocannon 10s are having their ammunition per ton increased from 15 to 20. An extra 5 shots per ton is actually a very big thing when you consider, the mechs that take a regular AC-10 nowadays. Uh, one of the big ones being the Dragon Slayer, the Victor hero. A lot of people are taking the AC-10 on it and pairing it up with ERPPCs or PPCs. So having that extra ammunition there is going to make them happy. Clan autocans and Clan Ultra autocans are having their number of projectiles per volley reduced. I'll let people actually read that through rather than saying it. There's also going to be changes done to the ammo per ton is going to be cut down. So rather than have as much ammo, you're losing almost a third of your ammo. It looks like. Or no, it's actually getting. Some are almost getting cut in half. So that's going to be a big change. The dire wolves that run chainsaws are going to people are going to have to re-examine what they do with that because they're going to have less ammo to play with now. Class 1 jump jets are getting getting a change. They are having their initial boost changed from 158 to 220. In-air thrust is being increased from 50 to 68.
Oh my god.
However, the duration of the burn is being reduced from 4.9 to 4.1. So
Shut up. It's still good.
yeah, we might see the Highlander actually be able to jump. It just won't be able to hang in the air for very long. So we'll have to see how this actually develops. Hopefully, it is a good step forward. Class 3 jump jets are having their duration increased from 3.2 to 3.75. Class 4 jump jets are having their duration of burn increased from 3.2 to 3.75 as well. Mech mobility is getting a change. When a leg is destroyed on a mech, the mech will slow down automatically to 15 kilometers before being able to slowly regain speed back to 40 kilometers. Additional hits to a leg mech will no longer slow it back down to 15 kilometers. So the only way to take him down out is going to definitely be shoot that other leg off. Mech fixes and changes are coming. Awesome is getting a weapon visualization pass. So all the awesomes are going to be getting, those lovely little changes where, it actually looks like it's mounting the right weapon in the right slot now. Banshee 3M Champion is getting a fix that due to it providing bonus C bills instead of bonus XP. So that's going back to bonus XP. The Centurion has its ballistic weaponry in that right arm being remodeled. The Cicada is having a weapon visualization pass. The Commando is having a weapon visualization pass. The Dragon is having a weapon visualization pass. Evan Jaguar is fixing a minor cockpit clipping issue. It's also having an issue fixed where the mech would spin nonstop after death. Oh, it's losing its breakdance ability. I'm sad. The Executioner is having a minor cockpit clipping issue fixed. The Hellbringer is having the Franken pattern improved. Jaeger-Mech is having a cockpit texture issue fixed. The Spider is having a leg hit mesh being fixed. We are also seeing quirk
I was going to say,
changes.
this is now where things are going to get interesting.
Yeah. Now here comes interesting. Yeah. Quirk changes. Timberwolf Prime is having both of its arms quirks changed to having reduced laser duration from 6% to 4% and energy cooldown from 6% to 4%. I should say -6% to -4%. So it's losing some of its quirks there. It's also losing some of its. It's also in its left torso losing the +3 to laser duration and having it replaced with a -3% energy cooldown. So it's gaining better energy cooldown for that left torso, but and losing the duration. So that's interesting. Timberwolf A. Wow, there. I don't know if we really should be reading all these out. There are a lot of changes happening. So I would suggest if you're interested in the quirks, go read the patch notes. It is predominantly it's only the Timberwolves and the Stormcrows that are getting quirk changes right now.
Which honestly, they are the big players, so it's not unexpected.
Getting some changes in the mech lab. We're having the expanded view resolution support increased. Minimum. It's now going to be 1280 by 720. We're also going to have expanded layout, better resolutions for 1280 and 720 and 1440 by 900. Host state rewind fixes and improvements are coming. There's going to be some optimizations also being done to better allow bandwidth usage for both upstream and downstream. And then there's just some general fixes that will help the game run more smoothly. Probably the biggest general fix though is there was an issue with the Spider Mastery bundle that you could not purchase it from the store if you had no empty mech bays, which didn't make sense because all Mastery bundles come with 3 mech bays included for the mechs in the pack. So it's good to see that PGI is fixing that little issue. And of course, River City is the big change being listed in these patch notes. It is coming out tomorrow.
And being awesome,
means,
hopefully.
Yeah. That means the old River City and River City night maps are being discontinued. You will not be able to play them in public, private, or the testing ground. So the only River City will be the new River City, which will have dynamic time of day, breakable objects, single spawn dropship zones. So looking forward to that.
I think that's about it.
Well, no, one little thing. Interesting note where they said we had talked about last week the issues that were being changed with the mech fixes and changes that are listed out in this patch for tomorrow. They are confirmed to be weapon visualization passes, which is which is all well and good. We had thought that they were going to be geometry changes, but it turns out we weren't too far off. There are going to be geometry changes coming down the way. There is currently polls up for all 4 categories of mechs: light mechs, medium mechs, heavy mechs, and assault mechs. Voting will be until July 9th, 1 p.m. Pacific on July 9th. The first set of polls will close. What you will be doing is you get to vote for 1 mech from each weight class that you think needs to have a geometry change done to it. And this is specifically a rescale of the mech, of determining whether it should be bigger or taller. I'm sorry, bigger or smaller. So part 1 will be determining 3 mechs from each weight class. Part 2 will be deciding the top 5 mechs to be rescaled. The part 3 will be a poll consisting of the top 5 mechs being decided should each mech get a increase in size, a decrease in size. So all those people that have been long complaining about the Awesome being the barn door, if you go and vote now, you can put the Awesome as one of the mechs that needs to be looked at to get a geometry rescaling done on it. Currently looking at the polls for Assault Mechs. Awesome is way in the lead with over 2,000 votes. So people know that the Awesome needs a rescaling done to it. For heavy mechs, the Catapult, Grasshopper, and Quick Draw are right now in the top spots. Medium mechs, the Nova, Shadowhawk, Centurion, and Trebuchet are being given top spots in terms of the voting. Light mechs, the Kit Fox and Adder are both being listed for as the top mechs to be rescaled. Don't know about that one. I feel like they are not too bad off. Maybe a little, stocky, but overall not bad. So all those people that have been saying long and hard, though, that the Quick Draw, the Catapult, they need to be rescaled. This is your opportunity to let your voice be heard. Go on to the MWO forums, make your vote in each weight class of what mech you feel deserves a rescaling.
I think that's everything now.
Yes, that's everything.
Okay, that is everything. Well, I hope.
Oh, no, one more thing.
Oh, no, up.
One more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just being an asshole about it.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
So.
All right. Thank you everyone for listening to episode 21 of the Armored Combat Escalation Service podcast. As always, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. We will see you next week, and keep being lovely people, and keep fighting the clans, because let's be honest, we want to take Terra back. Let's do it. Let's take Terra back.
Terra hasn't fallen; it's just now being surrounded.
Everything they've done, everything but land on Terra. Let's not let that happen. Let's keep up the fight. Until next time, Mech Warriors.